Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name's Justin. I'm CEO of Shaka Code, and I'm here for another week to discuss another article from Alkesh. Alkesh, all right,
Hi.
ready to get going?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah. We
let's
can.
get yeah, let's just jump right into this. I'm going to share my screen, and yeah, let's do this. All right, so Rails 8. So Alkesh, you can see my screen, right? Here's the new
Yeah.
article you wrote about Rails 8.
Yeah.
So I take a quick look at this article. It's a really cool feature because it makes so much sense and it's really simple. And I guess I didn't realize it, but we can do this even right now before Rails 8. And what is it that we want to do? Is we want to limit our app to modern browsers, right? Or to whatever browsers we want to support. So there's definitely a lot of old browsers out there. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about what is this all about, Alkesh?
Yeah. So I think developers frequently have like issues about okay, if a user is using a very stale browser, or most probably if they are like using about Internet Explorer which is not supporting the features, they have like issues when a button is not able to click. It is not clickable, or it is like we have some security issues with that. So I think DHS introduced a really great feature. Uh, why like browsers minimum version is required? I think because you might identify there is some security issue with your application or your browser which the
Right.
user is using, or like definitely like we keep our Rails
Yeah.
versions upgraded, so it makes sense for browser to also get their upgrades, fix their security patch, improve their performance. So I think having a functionality where you can set the minimum browser version is very
Yeah.
helpful for the developers. And it makes sure like as we upgrade our Rails stack, like whatever language you're working in, whether it's Java or Go or anything, there is always a version upgrade. And I think browsers also have that. So to make this compatible, I think this allow minimum browser version is a lot helpful
Yeah.
feature.
Well, definitely for the developer efficiency, so that way we know we're developing for modern browsers. And actually, when we're setting up Webpack and things like Babel, etc., so we're building JavaScript bundles. If we know that we're only supporting newer browsers, then we don't support the older browsers. So the bundle size is smaller because we don't have a whole bunch of extra junk in the bundles to put in all sorts of patches for old browsers. So that looks good. So that's kind of what I've been more used to. And there's a bunch of different ways you can put some snippet of code on your you know on your application layout to detect this. But this is kind of nice, this gem browser. So is this gem, the browser gem, is it related at all to the feature functionality added in Rails, or just similar functionality?
It is just a similar functionality. I think internally, when I saw the Rails source code, they're actually using the user agent gem, which they have added to the Rails source code. Browser
Okay,
is like once I was like going through it, like what are the different gems which we can use
sure.
right before Rails set. I came across this, and it is
Yeah.
like almost similar to user agent. And I thought like, okay, this is one, and I tried it on my local, and that worked fine.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, this is like you can have a generic method in your support
Yeah.
application or in your controller,
Yeah.
whatever like the way you want to go with.
Yeah.
And yeah, in this code I set it like for if your browser is Chrome, Firefox, or Safari, you have those minimum versions. And
Yeah.
for a REST, Opera or other, you can return to yeah, we are supporting it. Uh, like this is like a very simple check. But what happens is like you might have different versions for different requests. Like if you have a lot of controllers, like let's say the best part is I think what I can think about is like messages controller where your chat is enabled, and uh, you have a like a as we have like messenger in Facebook, similarly you can have your own tool. So for that, maybe your application might require a different version as compared to the your own like the core application. So I think adding these methods in Rails 8 will be like before Rails 8 basically, like you might have to add a lot of methods. Okay, for this part, I mean for chat controllers, I have to use this method, and for my whole application, this is something different. And definitely you have to add these custom code like if your browser is supported or not. Uh,
This
so
would be
yeah,
like an application layout. Instead of yielding to the whatever, the specific
right.
view, you just check if supported browser, otherwise, please upgrade. So that makes a lot of sense, looks very easy.
Correct.
So yeah, I like how you gave a couple examples there of different options to use. So Rails 8, let's see how much easier this gets, right? Because I'm actually making a new Rails app, and one of the things I realize is that a lot of the apps that I'm thinking I might use as a template, they've been maintained over many, many years. And wow, they have a lot of different gems. And how many of these gems do I want to add to a brand new app, right? So
Yeah,
so let's see
completely.
what we got. So with Rails 8, so we just have allow browser. And if you've seen my previous talk, you know that allow browser, that's just going to be a method on this one that's at the class level. And it's just taking this single parameter here, which is one named argument, which is versions, right?
Yeah, true.
Modern. So you have modern, and so I guess there's probably some other options like legacy or some other things that are supported,
Yeah,
right?
so I
Besides
think
modern.
yeah, modern is one like which would always keep like the
Sure.
version updated, like what they have set to,
Yeah.
and like but you also have the flexibility to specify as per the browser which you are using. So
Right,
let's say I
right.
want Safari to be
Yeah,
20 plus. Uh,
right. So here, instead of versions being just plain old modern, which whatever that is, you can actually specify the minimum versions, which, so my concern is if you said browsers version modern, after a few years or at some arbitrary time in the future, this is going to change, right?
yeah, correct. Yeah,
So this is much more specific,
specific.
like
Yeah,
whether or not you support these. What if you don't want to support Internet Explorer? I guess you do like this one, false, right?
correct. Yeah. So if you
Right.
want to mention like okay, my application won't run at Firefox, then you can just set it to false.
So it's a number or that.
Correct.
I always think
And
when things are like two different possible data types inside a same value, but I guess it's Ruby. That's the way it
Ruby.
works.
Yeah, yeah, that's how it
So
works. Yeah.
that's the way it
So,
works, and you gotta kind of go with that. So,
yeah,
but what else could they have done if it wasn't false, right? What would you do? I mean, you could allow browser version, 1000, something like that.
okay.
So only show. Now, what's
Yeah,
this
like
show?
so.
Only
Let's
the
say
show method on the
correct.
controller?
Yeah, true. Yeah. So
It-
now you see the controller. It is chats controller, and like let's say, so allow browser. What it will do is in application controller we have mentioned like Safari
Yep,
version will be about 20. I am
yep,
not supporting Firefox. I am supporting Internet Explorer 9. That is for all the
yep,
actions. But
yep,
chat controller, apart from these checks like Safari 20, Firefox false, and Internet Explorer 9, it will
yep.
also have checks for Chrome and Opera.
Right, right. So this is overriding this
No, not
allowed.
overriding, it is clubbing them. I mean, we basically think like
So it
when I have a
actually,
production,
so it actually puts them together.
yeah, it puts them together, it
Right,
concatenates basically.
right.
And that's the beauty. Like, I mean, for my all other actions, I will have a minimum version for
This
Safari
takes
5.
precedence. This takes
Yeah,
precedence, right?
correct. Yeah.
Like for IE
Totally
9
correct.
there, and there
Correct.
it's false. Okay.
True. And I mean, similar to like before action, we have like only and except parameters. That is the only part what I have added in the chats controller.
Okay.
And this is a generic page like which they have added, like 426.html when you are not able to, like your browser is not supported. I mean, it's up to you like what page you have to
Okay.
render, but this is the one which they have kept in place.
That's the default one, right?
Yeah, that's the default provided by them.
All right. Looks very cool. All right. So that wraps it up. That's another cool little article you got there, Alkesh.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, anything else you want to say, Alkesh?
No, I think this is a lot helpful. I think Railset, there are like a lot of Railset
Yeah.
new features which are showing up. Let's keep blogging them and creating videos like this.
Okay, cool. Love it, Alkesh. Bye-bye.